I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and safety to the hopefully elect, all the sincere Akim, scattered throughout the four corners, pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. For those who don't know, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And this is another edition of biblical interpretations. And what I'm going to go into in this lesson is this word planet. Because you have a private interpretation that's taught out of the book of Tahar, that planets exist. Alright, we know NASA, which means to deceive, came with this doctrine of planets existing, such as Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Pluto, and that madness. But according to the Bible, according to the word of the Lord, planets don't exist, such as the so-called white man teaches. Alright, remember that's doctrines of devils, and the Lord warned us about Babylon through the prophet Isaiah, that they was going to use stargazers and astrologers to confuse the people. And you have these guys amongst the circumcision that's teaching the so-called white man words, alright, using private interpretation, teaching that planets exist. So this is 2 Kings chapter 23 and verse 5, and it reads, "And he put down the idolatrous priests whom the kings of Judah had obtained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah and in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burn incense to Baal, to the sun, to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the hosts of the heavens." Now this word planets, that's what I want to deal with. Let's look up this word here. It's H4208. And as you can see on your screen here, it says constellations. Constellations. Alright, here in the Strongs it says constellations. And that's what it's referring to. Constellations of the stars. It's not referring to Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, alright, such as the so-called white man, such as NASA, which means to deceive. Alright, and according to the book of Revelation 12, alright, that devil, which deceiveth the whole world, is the corporate behind this planet globe theory. Alright, so this word planets is not referring to Mars and Jupiter. Alright, it's referring to constellations. Now when you look up the notes here on your screen, it says planets or 12 signs or constellations. So that's what it's referring to when it refers to planets. Alright, not the private interpretation that that's taught out of the book of Tahar. Okay, now let's get a precept in the book of let's see here, Amos 5 and 8. This is the book of Amos 5 and 8. And it reads, "Seek him that maketh the seven stars." The seven stars. Now let's look up this seven stars. And as you can see on your screen, it says a constellation of seven stars. And that's what it's referring to when it refers to planets. Alright? The constellation of seven stars. It says a cluster of stars. That is the planets. Alright? The seven stars. The constellation. So that's what it's referring to when it refers to planet. The constellations. Alright? Not Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars, man. That's a private interpretation that was brought in by the will of man, and taught as the Lord's word. Alright, and we're commanded not to mix or match the Lord's word with the so-called white man madness. So it says, "Seek him that maketh the seven stars, that maketh the planets, the constellations, and the Orion. When you look up this word Orion, on your screen it says constellations. Orion, Orion, the constellations. Alright? Meaning the constellation of stars. Alright? Not planets. Alright? So it says, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. So that's what it's referring to in the book of Kings when it refers to the planets. All right, it's referring to the constellation of stars. And if you do your research, a simple Google research, uh, you can find that information out very easily. Okay, so now I want to get another precept. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 15. Better yet, let's start at 14. Because according to NASA, all right, these planets, this Mars, these Jupiter, this Saturn, all right, that's taught amongst the circumcision out of the book of Tahar. According to them, the planets is out beyond the galaxy, out in space. All right, but we read and showed you that those planets are referring to the constellation of stars. So this is Genesis 1 and 14. It says, and the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And we know that's referring to the sun and the moon. Read on, and the stars. Verse 15, and let them be for lights in the firmament, not out in the galaxy, not in outer space, but in the galaxy of the heavens, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And the power made two great lights. Now we know those two great lights is referring to the sun and the moon. The greater light to rule the day, which is the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night, which is the moon. He also made the stars also. All right, and God set them in the firmament, the sun, the moon, and the stars in the firmament. Okay, let's look up this note here. Okay, so it says, verse 17, referring to the moon, the stars, and the sun. Verse 17, and the power set them in the firmament, not in outer space, such as NASA teaches. All right, not in another galaxy. All right, such as what's being taught out the book of Tahar, but they was placed in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. All right, and that's the purpose of the two great lights and also the stars. Okay, so now let's get one last precept in the book of Ezekiel and show you what's outside the firmament. All right, according to the words that's written in the book, and not out of the book of Tahar. So this is Ezekiel 1 and 26. And this is what's above the firmament. We just read about the moon, the stars, and the sun being placed in the firmament. All right. So this is Ezekiel 1 and 26. And above the firmament that was over their head was the likeness of a throne. So this is what's above the firmament. All right, the throne of Yahweh, as the appearance of sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. So this is what's above the firmament, man. The Lord and his hosts. All right. Verse 27. And I saw as the color of amber, and that cuts these doctrines about the Lord being um, just a spirit. Some say he can be female. The Lord is a man, all right, according to the scriptures, all right, because according to the prophet Ezekiel, the doors of heaven was open, and the Lord showed him the vision, uh, what was above the firmament, and what he saw was a throne and the appearance of a man above it, above and upon it, and that's referring to the heavenly Father Yahweh, all right, which is a man, all right, according to what's written. But verse 27 dealing with these planets and dealing with these planets. So it says, and I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. And right, and that fire that was round about the throne, now referring to the angels. All right, from the appearance of his loin and upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about it. And that's referring to the angels. So that's what's above the firmament. Okay? Not planets. So it says, as the appearance of a bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord Yahweh. All right, and that's what's above the firmament, not planets, man. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake, referring to that man upon that throne, which is the Heavenly Father Yahweh. All right, and that's what's above the firmament. All right, not planets. And I hope you brothers was edified. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.